Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this week so far has been a slow news week, so I'm going to focus on something that has to do with me, and I hope that you enjoy this. So Dan Corder, okay, before you tune out, focus. I know I said it and now you want to stop the video. Don't, just continue watching. Dan Corder hosts a show called The Dan Corder Show, because it's all about Dan Corder. And he hosts this once a week on ENCA. I think it's a Monday at 9 or 10 p.m. You know, the graveyard shift where nobody watches. Because nobody watches ENCA or network television. But to be on a show on Monday at 10 o'clock at night, shame, man. I'm sure this video will get more views than that show. But anyway, so he's got an hour show a week in which he can talk about political happenings and important topics in South Africa. And yet, with everything that's happening in South Africa, he manages to find 6 minutes out of an hour-long show to talk about political career collapse cup. That is what he called it. And he takes politicians against one another to see who had the biggest collapse. Now, I mean, not really sure, why that is relevant to what is happening in South Africa, but apparently, he's running out of ideas, so he's decided, okay, well, let's focus on that. Even though, it's been a year since the thing with me and IOL, in which they snipped a video and cut out 96% of the context and led with that and was found guilty by the press ombudsman, and then eventually got kicked out of the press council. I mean, none of that's important. The only thing that's important is people's hatred for me. And when I say people, I'm talking about the woke left, like Dan Corder. So I want to show you this video. And then, I'm a little bit biased because I'm featured in it, but I want to get your feedback on whether or not Dan Corder is actually manipulating the 15-member audience that he's got. And then just to illustrate how absolutely pathetic it is for somebody like Dan Corder to use a political show to score points against people that he really, really dislikes. Because he dislikes me. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why you would dislike somebody like me. I mean, I think I'm an awesome human being. But apparently Dan doesn't like me. So let's have a look at the video quick. All right, so, the first thing that I've noticed is you've got a show on ENCA, and this is the production quality. I mean, I get it that you're trying to actually make it look low budget, but I actually think that they just don't have budget. So it's like a show and tell grade 4 project on display on ENCA on their prime time. Yeah, sure, whatever. Anyway, let's have a listen.
It's Floyd Shivambu versus Museo Terralikota. Floyd Shivambu went from being the second most powerful leader of the EFF to an outcast nobody MK backbencher member of parliament, all by his own decisions. And Terralikota over there, he was ANC national chairperson for a long time. Then he left to start COPE, the Congress of the People. COPE looked cute for a second, but clearly couldn't cope and subsequently collapsed over a decade, and as of 2024 has no parliamentary representation whatsoever. So, who has had the bigger career political collapse between these two? Is it Lekota?
It's like somebody is whispering in his ear the whole time, and when he was fiddling with it, it's like because he couldn't hear, he had to stop talking. Just listen here again. Like, I mean, this is what an absolute puppet Dan Corder is, and also, the guy looks homeless. I don't know why he's going for that look, or if he just really looks like that. I'm not too sure.
No parliamentary representation whatsoever. So,
okay, watch now.
Who has had the bigger career political?
You see that? It's like, oh, I can't hear what you say.
Collapse between these two. Is it Lekota or Floyd? It's Floyd. Lekota, you are gone.
Oh, the production quality is amazing.
Next quarterfinal, Musi Maimane went from being the DA leader and securing more votes for the DA than ever before to being
Sure, that's simply not true. Musi Maimane was the leader in 2026, but the election campaign was pretty much led by Helen Zille because Mmusi Maimane got there at the end of the election campaign, right before the elections. And then he was elected as a leader. So all the work was done by the prior leader, which was Helen Zille. So no, like for a political show to get it so wrong, it's just terrible. But anyway.
He started his own party, Bosa, talked a big game, and then barely scrambled together a place in parliament. He is up against Zweli Mkhize, who fell from being the heroic Minister of Health during the early days of COVID to leaving in disgrace after being implicated in the Digital Vibes scandal, where money meant to battle COVID was being stolen. So, who's had the bigger collapse, Mmusi or Zweli? Wow, well done, Mmusi. That's going to do well for you next.
I can't get over the fact that he's literally used like a pin-up board. Shame, man. ENCA must just maybe allocate like 100 Rand more for his show's budget.
Election. Okay, all right. Quarterfinal 3 of the Political Career Collapse Cup. Nosiviwe Mapisa Nqakula was the Speaker of the National Assembly, but which is one of the most powerful positions in the country, until she was arrested on corruption allegations. And she is facing against Renaldo Gouws, a right-wing bigot who shouted on...
Bigot? I'm a bigot? Okay.
The internet until he became a DA member of parliament. Then he was kicked out after an old video surfaced of him screaming the K word over and over again. So, who's had the bigger collapse, Renaldo?
Okay, so can we also... Yeah, let's focus. Can we just put this in context, please? So I'm not going to explain what happened 15 years ago. You guys already know this, hyperbole, blah, 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 right? All I want to say is, so he is comparing something I said 15 years ago to illustrate a double standard with Kill the Boer, right? He's comparing that to somebody that was the speaker and is involved in corruption and had to resign from her position as the Speaker of Parliament, right? Now, I mean, can we be honest here? Me using a naughty word 15 years ago to illustrate a point is on par with the speaker having to resign and criminal charges laid against her. I mean, is it even close? Well, let's see.
Or Nosiviwe. She had the bigger collapse than Renaldo.
Well, yeah, Dan, because she was the speaker, she had to resign, and now she's facing criminal charges versus Renaldo Gouws, that before he became a politician, used the K word to illustrate the double standards of racism in South Africa, and then 15 years later, IOL snipped 96% of the content of the video and just posted it, and it caused outrage. I don't have a criminal case against me. In actual fact, there's no cases against me. And also, I haven't been found guilty of hate speech or racism. So your shock really tells me that it's not what you wanted to hear. So let's play this again and then look at his response here.
K word over and over again. So who's had the bigger collapse, Renaldo or Nosiviwe? She had the bigger collapse than Renaldo.
He's confirming that he heard that most people shouted her name and not my name. So that should be the end of it, right? In this very fair game with this very legitimate scoreboard and very legitimate board and graphics and everything, it's quite clear who the winner was there, right? It wasn't me. However...
Okay, well, last time, Renaldo...
Ooh, I need you to say what I want you to say.
Nosiviwe. Okay, that's a bigger swing. All right.
No, it's a bigger swing because you caused it, Dan.
Quarterfinal. Let's keep going. Ace Magashule.
This is what's wrong with mainstream media in South Africa, is when they don't get the answer that they want, then they coerce people into believing what they want them to believe. But anyway.
Was the ANC Secretary General, one of the most powerful positions in South African politics, until he was expelled from the party. He then started his own party that did absolutely nothing at the election, and he is now facing the biggest corruption trial to come out out of state capture. He is up against Lindiwe Sisulu. Now, Sisulu comes from the great ANC Sisulu family and has been coasting off of her parents' fame for her whole life. She's basically a political nepo baby. She has been a minister of a bunch of government departments and left all of them in a raging mess. She ran to be ANC president twice and failed both times. She has now finally given up and left South African politics. So who is the biggest career collapse, Ace or Lindiwe? Oh, that sounds like Lindiwe. All right, semi-finals. There's Floyd against William Kize of Digital Vibes. Who has had the biggest career collapse, folks? One more time, Zweli or Floyd? Wow, Floyd Shivambu. Well done, brother. Okay, and up against them, it is the K-word spewing Renaldo Gouws against the political nepo baby Lindiwe Sisulu.
I mean, once again, I don't even know why I'm on this board, because my biggest sin is using the K-word 15 years ago and people aren't getting the context, and I'm here up against, like he said, the nepo baby, like somebody that is like career is filled with corrupt allegations, right? And I mean,
had the bigger career collapse, Renaldo or Renaldo?
Oh no, listen. You can listen how everybody is screaming no, and then he's just
Renaldo. And now in the final, to crown the biggest political career collapse in South African modern history, we have Digital Vibes, Zweli and Kize versus K-Woods.
I mean, can I just... The fact that I am being put up against Zweli and Kize is just mind-blowing, don't you think? You know, everything that Zweli and Kize has done and the track record of it. The fact that out of all the politicians in South Africa, I'm in a final as to the bigger political collapse. I mean, what?
Renaldo Gouws. Is it Zweli Kize or Renaldo Gouws?
What? And he even went for it. Did you hear that? Everybody shouted Zweli. You want to hear it again? Here we go, one more time. Like, it's just...
Kize or Renaldo Gouws? One more time.
I didn't get my answer. One more time.
3, 2, 1. You know what? I think it's a tie. Congratulations.
So it is quite interesting to see that not only do I make it onto the board, but the fact that I make it so far into the final. Even though you can clearly hear people did not vote for me. But I find it hilarious. And the reason I find it hilarious is because if you had to remove me from that board, what would that board look like? Go back and have a look, and then that's the reason. That's the reason why this token white guy was on the board. Because imagine if the Dan Corder show had this competition and the only people on that board were black. Makes you think, doesn't it? But of course, why would they allow that to happen? You know, even though in this instance it's factual because you're just asking, and race doesn't really matter. I think it's more about the personality and the intentions of the person. But even Dan Corder was that woke that he probably looked at that board and goes, we need a white person here. Who was controversial? Oh, Renaldo, we can use him. Because let's be real. Out of all the things that those politicians have done on that board, do you really want to tell me that me using the K word 15 years ago, you know, with context and everything included, is as bad as what these politicians did? Really? And then, of course, Dan putting his finger on the scale every time my name is mentioned. I mean, I was supposed to be out in the quarterfinals, but yet I make it to the semis, make it to the final, and then when you can clearly hear everybody screaming for Zweli, I end up drawing. It's amazing though. Listen, I will gladly accept that award, Dan. Thank you very much. Can I get a trophy or a medal? Should I contact anybody to, you know, get the award? Because apparently me being 3 months in a parliament is on par with William Kiese. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, I need to get a certificate, medal, or, some sort of award for that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is just once again to illustrate the clear double standards and clear agenda from mainstream media. And I'm not even talking about Dan Corder, because the guy's a puppet. Like, he's woke for pay. He's willing to say whatever the puppet masters wants him to say. And I mean, everybody knows it's sad. The fact that his gimmick is wearing 3 beanies and that's how he got attention. And then, hey, because he said the right things at the right time that the overlords wanted to hear, he got like this random show on ENCA at 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. Is it? I'm not sure. I don't watch it. On a Monday night when nobody's watching. So here you go, Dan Corder. My gift to you is that this video will get more views than your show on ENCA. Well done. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button. Please be sure to subscribe. Please be sure to share this video far and wide. Give Dan Corder some attention because he clearly is craving some. And lastly, if you enjoy my content, then please consider becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the join button below. And that's all I got to say. Till later, everybody. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre.